Hey, today we're at this heat pump, and the complaint is it's blowing out heat. And so what I did was just turn on the thermostat. I'm waiting on the time delay to reset. And if you look up here, I've got my orange and my Cumming wire. The orange being the reversing valve wire, the blue being the common. I've got them, the wire nut off of them so I can take voltage. I should have 24 volts there because we are in cooling. And if we don't have 24 volts, we have to kind of go back to the thermostat and see if the thermostat is the problem. The only issue with the thermostat is Honeywell, and of course when you lift the face off of it, it will not call. So if we get to that point, then we'll jump it out and see what happens. But otherwise, I'm hoping that, we've got to take voltage first to see where we're at. And then we'll fill the line, see if it's warm. And if it's warm, then thermostat definitely bad. So when it comes back on, we'll turn the camera back on and check it out. Alright, so the unit just came on. First thing I'm going to do is check the line. And it's getting cold, which tells me that it is sending a signal out there. So the heat strips might be stuck on. So now, let's take voltage. Even though it's cold, I know that the reverse valve is getting a signal. Alright, so I got 24 volts, so I know the thermostat's not the problem. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to disconnect the yellow wire while I reconnect that. And the reason I'm going to disconnect the yellow wire is so I can turn the outdoor unit off. So when I pull the panel off to take amps on the heat strips, it won't mess with my head pressure or my suction pressure. And the reason we're disconnecting the yellow wire is so it doesn't mess with my pressures outdoor when I pull the door off. So stick that wire nut back up there. Left the drill in the truck, so I got to do it the old school way. Pretty much how I do it anyway. The Vito's in the truck. And like I said, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take amps on the heat strips, see if they're sticking on, see what the problem is there. Come do me a favor. Walk over to a vent and see if you got warm air blowing.
I don't know if it's warm, but it's not cold.
It was hot a while ago. Well, it doesn't matter if we feel warm air or cold air or whatever. We're going to test the amps and see what the amp draw is. Alright, so we just get our wire coming in. We've got 0.81 amps, so it doesn't look like they're sticking anymore. So it might be one of those, well, we're going to go outside and see if there's a loose wire somewhere, or what the story is, because I felt heat. Unit came on, fan's not running, probably another bad defrost board. But as I was walking out, I felt the vent blowing hot air coming out of there, really hot air. So I'm gonna go back in there, take the cover off, take amps again, and see what happens. So anyway, let's go back in there. First thing we do before we take the cover off is check the white wire and see if we had 24 volts on there. Alright, so we're back at the air handler, and we're going to take voltage on the white wire, which is our heat wire, and our common, which is our blue. We got 37 volts. So, tells me that the thermostat is probably bad, but what I'm going to do is put the wire nut back on the common wire so I don't short anything out. And I'm going to white wire to see if we get a signal coming from our defrost board or if we get a signal coming from our thermostat. And with the fan not running, as you saw when the unit started up, it's probably a defrost issue, a defrost board issue causing the problem. But it definitely was hot air coming out of it. So all I have to do is figure out which one of these wires is the outdoor unit, which ought to be pretty easy. I should have brought my strippers in, but I didn't, so we're just gonna have to deal with it. Alright, so that's that. Whew, sweating, I feel like I'm in an attic. Alright, so now I'm gonna disconnect the blue wire, which is our common. Take the wire nut off of it. We're going to attach that there, and then put it back on the bolts. Alright, so we have 7.6 volts there, and 25 there. So that wire right here is a problem. Okay, and it was this one right here, which comes this way. Alright, so that tells me the defrost board is bad because it's sending power through the W back to the heat strips, and it's not turning the fan on. So we're going to replace yet another bad defrost board. While I'm here, I'm glad we're going to do it because I got a comment about which connection on the contactor that I plugged the fan wire onto, so we'll show you that one too. Alright, let's go outside and take care of business. So here we are at the defrost board of the unit. I know I did this video a couple days ago, but I did have some questions about where I actually put the wire for the fan on the contactor. And this one's going to be a little different because since we didn't, I did pick a board up, but it's actually in my trailer because when I picked the board up, I put everything in there and it didn't get transferred to the truck, so I don't have one. So this is what you can do to get yourself out of a bind if you do get in one. We're going to do a couple different things. We're going to take the fan wire off of the board. We're going to take the fan wire off of the board because this is our power wire that feeds this side of the relay, and when it says, hey, I need the fan to turn on, it energizes and closes the contacts, and it sends power to this wire, which in turn turns on the fan. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this wire off, and we're going to follow this power wire down to where it plugs into the contactor. And it might be hard to see because of all the wires, but you see it's right here. The black side of the contactor, the common side there. Take that wire and you just put it on an empty terminal, just like so. Just like so. Okay, and so now when the contactor is going to send power up and turn the fan on when the so anyway, so that's that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the hot side of our reversing valve and we're going to take it loose off the board, because if something happens, I don't want this defrost board to de-energize the reversing valve. So we're going to power it hot as long as the reversing valve is getting a signal from the thermostat. Take that wire off like that. We're going to take one of these stake-on double terminal things. We're going to put it on there like that. Like that. And you may have to get your knife and trim the edge of that. I think if you bend it out like this, you'll be fine. See how I bend it out? You'll be fine. And then we're going to take some electric tape. We're going to tape that up, so you know, and we'll stick it in here so it's not going to touch anything. And what that will do, that will enable them to have air conditioning until we get back to change this board. And I might as well pick up another one while I'm out, because that was 2 or 3 days ago when we changed that other one out here. So, but let's get some electric tape on that. I got to turn the power on inside because I didn't want to take a chance of shorting anything out. So I disconnected the disconnect at the air handler, and that's it. We're going to tape it up and go turn it on, and then push in the disconnect, and we'll show you the final results. Alright, another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the W wire coming off the defrost board, because what I did was I disconnected the W in the apartment, and that way when I come back, if they're not here, I can just go ahead and just wire it up like it's supposed to be, and all will be well. Just put the electric tape there just in case something happens. Okay, let's go turn the power on, reconnect the W wire in the house, and see what we come up with. So now we're just reconnecting the white wires for our heat strips. That's good. And then we're going to put our orange wire on our common wire. We're going to put our orange wire nut on our common wire, like so. And then we're going to take the disconnect, plug it back in. Then we got to wait our 5 minutes, maybe not. Alright, so that's that. Alright, Alright, so we got the power plug back in. We're going to wait for the little time delay. It should take about 3 or 4 minutes now, and then it'll be running. We'll keep our fingers crossed that it works. But they didn't give us no room, did they, to work on this thing? I gotta climb over here in between the line set and the wall to get the power on. I mean, to get the panel on. Like so. Put my foot back there, contortion my way around. Oh. Man, I'm glad I'm smaller. So everything's all taped up. We're good to go. This isn't a permanent fix, it's just temporary to get people cooling. Can't hit the hole because I can't see. There it goes. Now we just waited time delay out. Alright, she just turned on.